What's going on, guys? Neil Guides here, and in today's video I'll explain to you how to get easier opponents, easier games, and technically more wins in Futchamps using a home game method. Just before I get into the video, I just want to say I don't condone this. I never actually did this before until I started streaming, um, and I think they need to fix this. I think this is really stupid. But anyway, going straight into the video. Timestamps are in the description below if you want to skip this certain part, because I do go a lot in depth, so you might want to skip just to the key points. So what is a home game and why do people play home games? Now, a home game is basically when you go into Futchamps and you go into a loading screen. So not this screen, but the next screen. As soon as I press advance, this screen is when you determine whether you're a home game or whether you're an away game. Now, you've probably been in games where people leave a lot, and this is the reason why. It's because they're trying to find a home game. Now, why do they want a home game? Because home game gives you easier opponents. And I'll explain to you the logic very briefly and basically, in case you don't know. Now, the logic is that if all the good players, all the pro players, and all the elite players only play home games, they can only get matched up against people that are playing away games. So basically, pros can never get matched up against each other. Because why? Because you can't have two home games playing each other. One guy has to be away, one guy has to be home. So if the elite player is playing a home game and all other elite players are home games, they're basically avoiding each other. Now, this wasn't much of an issue in FIFA 18, but this FIFA, it's a joke. There's so many games that you get into, people just leave, and it's because everyone knows about it now. That's why I thought I need to make this video, because you're actually at a disadvantage by not knowing about this. So how do you know if you're home or away? Very simple. You go into a game, see it says waiting for opponent, that's how you know you're playing a home game. Basically, when you're the first person in the lobby, that's how you know you're a home game. So I'm just going to find another game again. Now you see I joined the lobby now. After, it doesn't say waiting for opponent. This is an away game. You don't want to be playing these away games, because this means that it's a big chance that this guy is either an elite player or a top player or a good player. So the key is you basically just want to find an away game, and that's why people leave a lot. Again, this is another away game. You have to, as soon as you see waiting for the opponent, that's how you know you're on a home game, because you get into the lobby first. And that's basically how it works. See waiting for opponent? Again, that means it's a home game. Now, that's why you see a lot of people leaving when you get into lobbies, because they're trying to find a home game. And the reason why people play home games, as I said, is easier opponents technically, because the pool of players that are good, you're probably going to avoid them because they're playing home games as well. But there's also a kind of an argument of a better connection. I don't believe in it too much. It's probably just placebo. But when I was streaming, someone suggested to do it to kind of prevent lag, and that's what I did. So you can argue that maybe you get a better connection. I don't think it's that important. So I just say the main thing to look out for is if you want to get an easier games, just look for a home game and try to get a full latency bar connection. So that's the main reason. That's just the basic video gone. Now, just to get in depth, as I said, you'll face an easier opponent, because technically the pool of players that are only playing home players, if you're playing a home game as well, you're not going to be matching them. Normally in the beginning, the first 15 games are quite easy, but after that, when you get to, for example, the 20 wins. So for example, last week, just for a test, I was at 20 wins, and I was continuing my games, and I was thinking, why is everyone backing out? And at that point, almost everyone in Elite plays home games. People actually sit there searching for a game for like 10 minutes just to find a home game. Thank God it's not that bad in Europe, but in places like NA, North America, normally to find a game it takes 15-20 minutes. Sometimes, like at odd times at night. So that's why people spend a lot of time backing out a game. That's why if you see streamers, you see them backing out looking for games. That's the reason why. Other aspects to look out for. So let's say you do find a home game. This is a home game now, right? This is more an NA region, right? Now also, this screen here. Now normally if a player waits more than 10 seconds, they might do another trick. And so before this so in an NA region, this is not that important if you're not in NA. But in NA it's hard to find games. So some people, they just play home games, home or away games. But the screen you're just in, sometimes good players, they don't ready up straight away. They wait about 10 seconds just to know if each other are pro players or good players. That's another way that it happens. But I would say this is only for Futchamps. In Rivals, it doesn't matter too much. The reason why in Futchamps you can play someone who's in Silver 3, who's in Bronze 1, who's in Gold 3, or a top 100 player. The range of players you can play in Futchamps is quite wide. That's why you probably find that Futchamps is actually easier than Rivals. Of course, if you're like in the Division 3 and above. But in terms of Rivals, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Why? Because in Rivals, you're going to be playing the players that are in your division anyway. So for example, in this account, I don't play Rivals, right? But I'm in Division 3. Now, you can do home games if you really want to, but the truth is, every opponent's going to be around the same level you are, or whatever division you're in. It's because you're in that division. When you're in Division 3, you can from what I know, you can only play players in Division 3 or players that have a very similar skill rating to you, if that makes sense. So home games doesn't matter too much in Rivals, but it does matter a lot in Futchamps. So I would say try it. As I said, they need to fix this. Now, how they're going to fix it, I don't know. What they could basically do is just have I know there's technically the second screen, it brings more issues in, but what they could basically do, they could just have a masking screen. So let's say you get into a game, instead of it saying waiting for opponent, it says waiting for opponent on both sides, or waiting for a connection to connect, or something like that. And that way they can avoid players doing this home and away thing. I know, of course, in the next screen you can wait 10 seconds, and there's a lot of ways to get around it, but I think that's what you need to do. You need to fix that for now. But anyway, guys, I thought I'd just let you know about this video, because people have been asking me, why do I play home games, or why did I start playing home games? But that's the truth. In most cases, I think 99% of pros play home games only. You'll very rarely find a pro player that doesn't play a home game, and that's why you see a lot of pro players getting 30 and 0 every week. You're always wondering, how do these players get 30 and 0 every week? It's because what they're actually doing is they're only playing home games, and when they only play home games, they're basically getting matched against people that are not top players. That's very simply how it is. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, boys.